So you're thinking about buying a home in Northern Virginia? Well, before you take the plunge, there's some serious cons to consider. So in this week's video, we'll explore if buying a home in Northern Virginia is even worth it in 2025. And I'll share with you 5 major cons that you must know about before making your decision, and you're not gonna wanna miss it. So sit back, relax, because we're getting started right now. Hey everybody, it's David, your favorite realtor, and welcome back to another video. So as we all know, Northern Virginia is one of the most desirable places to live in the entire country, with its beautiful landscapes, world-class education system, unlimited career opportunities, close proximity to Washington, D.C., and so much more. But just like anything else in life, it definitely comes with its drawbacks, especially when it comes to buying a home in this region. So let's dive into the top 5 cons that you must consider before buying a home in Northern Virginia. And first on the list is high cost of housing. And this is by far the biggest con when it comes to buying a home in Northern Virginia, as this is one of the most expensive regions in the entire country. So a natural thing to do is, when you're thinking about buying a home, is you're on Zillow.com, you're checking out listings in the area you want to buy in, and when you see those prices, you are 100% getting sticker shock, whether you already live in Northern Virginia or you're relocating from another part of the country. So currently we are sitting at all-time record high prices, with the median sales price of a home in Northern Virginia coming out to $690,000. Now, to put that number into context, let's compare that to the national median sales price, and that number comes out to $419,000. So home prices in Northern Virginia are 65% higher compared to the country as a whole. On top of all-time record high prices, you also have to factor in we're sitting at 6.7% interest rates, which has a huge impact on home affordability. So let's check out an example monthly payment using the median sales price home of $690,000. So let's go ahead and type that in, $690,000 for the sales price. I would say most people on average put 10% down. We're sitting at 6.7% interest rates. Property taxes look good. Homeowners insurance looks good. Since we're under the 20% threshold, there will be a PMI. On average, it's probably $125 a month for this price point. HOA dues, probably around $120 a month on average. So to buy the median sales price home in Northern Virginia with 10% down, you're looking at a monthly payment of $4,775 per month. That is a lot of money. And to put that monthly payment into context, this is a $690,000 townhouse that just recently sold here in Ashburn, and it's pretty nice. It's not a luxury townhouse by any means, but very nice updates, good school district. But to rent this exact same house will probably cost you about $3,200 per month. So to buy the same home, it's gonna cost you $1,500 more per month. So yes, if you're thinking about buying a home in Northern Virginia, you definitely have to consider the high cost of housing. Sometimes it may even make more sense to rent. Now, as much as I love making YouTube videos about living right here in Northern Virginia, what I love even more is helping folks just like you relocate to the area. So if you're even thinking about moving to Northern Virginia, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Just know I got your back when you move into Northern Virginia. Now, the next con that you must consider before buying a home in Northern Virginia is extremely competitive housing market. So here's the scenario. You're finally pre-approved, you've hired a realtor, and now you're ready to start hitting the streets, looking at homes and submitting offers. So after 3 weeks of searching, you have finally found the house. This is the house you must have. It is by far your favorite house. Well, guess what? It's not just your favorite house. It's gonna be 5 to 10 other buyers' favorite house as well. So now you will be competing in the dreaded multiple offer scenario. And when there's multiple offers, sellers have all the leverage. They hold all the cards, and a lot of buyers out there, they'll do whatever it takes to win. Some will waive their home inspection contingency, some will waive their appraisal contingency, bidding 10, 20, 40, 50, 80, even $100,000 above asking price. Let me share with you a real world example in real time showing you the competitive landscape. So I have a client right now I'm working with, and they're looking at that $900,000 to $1 million price point, which is a very popular price point in this area. And we're looking both in Fairfax County and Loudoun County. So in the past 4 weeks, we've actually seen 16 homes. And of those 16 homes, 14 of those went under contract the first weekend with multiple offers. Now, not all of those homes have closed yet, so the actual sales price is not public yet. However, 6 have closed. I'm gonna share with you how much over they went above asking price, and the numbers will absolutely shock you. So a single family home in Centerville sold for $90,000 above asking price. Then a townhouse in Herndon sold for $25,000 above asking price. Then another single family home in Centerville sold for $48,000 above asking price. Then a townhouse in Brambleton sold for $58,000 above asking price. And last but not least, a single family home in Ashburn sold for $100,000 above asking price. So yes, all of this is extremely frustrating, and if you're in the home buying process right now, you have to expect to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 offers along the way until you finally get a home under contract. Now, another factor you definitely must consider is if you happen to beat out 5 other offers, you're the lucky winner. Chances are you're definitely overpaying for that house. So the only saving grace to that is now your home is the new comparable sale for the neighborhood. So hopefully maybe a month down the road when your neighbor goes to sell, they're selling for that price or maybe even a little bit higher. So basically the cycle continues, but that is definitely not guaranteed. So this I can say for certain. Don't worry about losing on a few homes along the way, because I'm a big believer the house you end up buying always ends up being the best. And I've seen this exact same scenario a million times over. A client, they lose a home. At that time, they're very frustrated. But then a few weeks later, we actually secure a home. And so many times they say, hey, David, I'm so glad we did not get that first house because the house I'm actually buying is way better. So be patient. I promise you this, it always works out in the end. Now, the next con to consider is you may have to end up settling on a townhouse or a condo. So without question, single family homes are the most in-demand style of home in our region. And 9 times out of 10, when someone reaches out to me, they always say, I want a single family home, regardless of their budget's $400,000 or $2 million. However, there's a lot less single family homes in this area. In fact, only 46% of all the homes in Northern Virginia are single family homes. So the majority of homes you find in our region are townhomes or condos. And this really drives up the prices of single family homes in our area, with the median sales price of a single family home in Northern Virginia coming out to $925,000. So a lot of potential home buyers, they may get priced out of buying a single family home and having to settle on a townhouse or even a condo. In fact, I fell into that category myself when I bought my home in 2022 here in Ashburn. I would have loved to buy a single family home. Unfortunately, it was just out of my price range, so I ended up buying a new construction townhouse style condo. Now, I absolutely love my house, but at the same time, I wish I had a single family home. Now, if you end up having to buy a townhouse, I promise you this, it is not the end of the world, as there are a lot of great townhomes in this area. We have luxury townhomes with elevators. We have new construction townhomes with all the bells and whistles. We have townhomes that are actually bigger than most single family homes. We have townhomes that are great for first-time home buyers, with a lot of these townhomes being in A+ neighborhoods with highly rated schools. In fact, I have a client right now who's looking for a single family home under that $1 million price point, and we had trouble finding the exact house they wanted. I ended up showing them a beautiful end-unit townhouse, and this thing is 5,000 square feet, 5 bedrooms, 5 bath, big fenced-in backyard. And when you're inside the house, you literally cannot tell you're in a townhouse. It feels just like a single family home. So my clients are extremely happy. However, they would have missed out on this opportunity had they only been focused on a single family home. So yes, if your budget's under $1 million, I would 100% be open to at least the idea of looking at townhomes. Now, the next con is most homes are part of an HOA. So a lot of people who relocate here from another part of the country have actually never lived in an HOA before. However, HOAs are extremely common here in Northern Virginia, especially in Loudoun County. In fact, 72% of all the homes in Northern Virginia are either part of an HOA or a condo association. So why don't people like HOAs? Well, first is you have rules and regulations of the community, and a lot of people, understandably, don't like being told what they can and can't do to their home. Secondly is HOA dues. The average HOA dues I see is usually $100 to $150 per month. However, there's some communities where the HOA is well over $500 per month. Now, some HOAs, you actually get a lot for your money with amenities like pools, clubhouse, gym, basketball courts, baseball field, tot lots for the kiddos. Some HOAs even come with cable and internet and a lot more. But then there's HOAs where you get absolutely nothing. So yes, not everybody loves living in an HOA, and if you happen to fall in that camp, there's a ton of homes and neighborhoods all throughout the region that have zero HOA. Now the next con you must consider before buying a home in Northern Virginia is this region has a lot of older homes. So many homes in our region, especially in Fairfax and Arlington County, were built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. In fact, 56% of all the homes in our region were built before the year 1989. And if we just look at Fairfax and Arlington County, which are the two most populous counties in our region, 72% of all the homes there were built before the year 1989. And some drawbacks to older homes are a lot of the older homes, especially the ones built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, were a lot smaller than more modern homes. And a very popular style of home that was built around that time was a 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1 or 2 level rambler. Another big drawback to older homes is older homes potentially going to come with more problems. You may have more immediate repairs, more immediate replacements like replacing the roof, HVAC system, water heater, things like that. Also, if you're buying a home that was built in 1955, chances are it's not a turnkey home, so you have to factor in, hey, we're gonna buy this house, we're gonna move in, but then we're gonna spend 50 grand to update the kitchen, 25 grand to update the bathrooms, and so on. Now, instead of buying a home that's 60 years old, you can definitely buy a new construction home, but just know this, buying a new construction home comes at a premium. Expect to pay anywhere from 10 to a 25% premium compared to buying a resale home. So yes, it's definitely a higher risk of potential problems and cash out of pocket when you're buying a home that's 60 years old. So David, we were actually thinking about buying a home, but now seeing all these cons, should we even buy a home in 2025 or just wait? Now, I always say the exact same answer when I get this question. If you're thinking about buying a home, you have to check all 3 of these boxes. Not 1 of the 3 or 2 of the 3, all 3 boxes. First box you want to check is you're in a strong financial position. You can comfortably afford the down payment and you can comfortably afford the monthly mortgage payment. Because the last thing you want to do is stretch yourself too far and be house poor. The second box you want to check is you have a strong need or motivation for a new home. For example, if you're a family of 4 living in a 2-bedroom apartment, well, guess what? You need a much bigger home. Or if you're relocating from another part of the country, well, guess what? You need a home as well. The third box you want to check is you plan to hold this home long term, ideally 7+ years. Because if you're thinking about buying a home this year and selling next year, you will lose in that scenario. Because when you sell a house, you have fees and taxes to pay. But if you hold the home long term, chances are you'll actually win in that scenario. So if you check all 3 of those boxes, then I will say this: the pros of buying a home greatly outweigh the cons that I just went over in this video. And if you want to learn more about living right here in Northern Virginia, check out these videos right here. They're gonna be great ways to continue your research. And I'll see you in the next video.